All the way back in Lech Lecha, we see Abraham defeating the nations who have captured Lot. And once he does this, he takes the spoils of war and he tithes it. He gives 10% away. V'itein lo ma'aseh mikol. He gave a tenth of everything away. So by doing this, by tithing our wealth, we express awareness that everything we get is from God and everything we receive is from God. Now, we normally get this wealth to improve our lives, to improve the lives of our loved ones, but we have to understand that this is a blessing from God. We might have worked hard, but by giving this 10%, by giving this money, we're showing that we understand and we appreciate that God has given it to us. And just as God has given it to us, God can take it away. So it might not necessarily occur to us when we get an unexpected money to do this. However, Abraham shows the importance of doing this and always recognizing that God is in our lives and helping us succeed.
The Lubavitcher Rebbe asked a fantastic question about Sefirat HaOmer. We know that Rabbi Akiva taught, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah." So how can it be that 12,000 pairs of Talmidim, of his Talmidim, did exactly the opposite and showed sinat chinam, and that's one of the things we commemorate over Lag BaOmer. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe answers in the Sefer Likutei Sichot that each Talmud was so great that he set up his own set of ideals, his own way of understanding the Torah. But what was the problem? That each Talmud was so boxed into his own way of thinking that he couldn't understand and couldn't appreciate his friend's way of thinking. So they weren't really thinking together, growing together. Each person was growing on their own. So may we merit to learn from each other, to help each other grow, and to use Sefirat HaOmer to realize how much we really need each other.
Pesach Sheni, which this year began on Sunday night, occurs every year on the 14th of Iyar, exactly 1 month after Pesach. In the time of the Bet HaMikdash, Jewish people were commanded to bring the Korban Pesach on the 14th of Nisan to celebrate the Exodus. However, there were some men who were either impure from touching a dead body or on a distant journey on exactly that date, and therefore were not able to make the sacrifice. In Bamidbar Perek Tet Pasuk Tet, Hashem speaks to Moshe and offers Pesach Sheni, an alternative day for men to eat the Pesach offering with matzah and mora at twilight a month later. However, Pesach Sheni was only allowed for the specific reasons. The Torah says that anyone else who failed to bring the Korban Pesach should be cut off from the children of Israel and shall bear the consequences of their sin.
Tom Knebly always gives 100%, puts his body where it hurts, ruthless in saying what needs to be said, always wanting to learn more, but most of all, gave unconditional amount of respect to everybody he encountered. Gemara Brachas Daf Nun Hey discusses an inspirational leader about having commitment, desire, and honesty, but most of all, actually being privileged to be a leader for the people you are leading. Specifically refers to B'Tzalel, the architect of the Mishkan, who went about his work quietly, but also had the respect of the people. He led from the front and let his results do the talking. He let those around him have their say. He ensured that no person was more important than the next, and most of all, didn't gloat about the quality of his work. What can we learn from both Kleinberg and B'Tzalel? Leadership comes in many forms. But in life, you won't get anywhere without being committed to team player, having a level of modesty, and most of all, being level-headed. Wishing you all a good Shabbos and up the yours.
There's a midrash that deals with a conversation between Rabbi Akiva and Turnus Rufus, who was the Roman governor at the time. Turnus Rufus asked Rabbi Akiva, whose deeds are more beautiful, Hashem's or mankind's? Rabbi Akiva answered, mankind's. Turnus Rufus was shocked. He said, how could this be? Rabbi Akiva said, bring me a stalk of wheat and some challah, and you tell me which you think is more perfect. We can see that Rabbi Akiva was a strong believer in taking Hashem's creations and making them holier. But it had to be more than that. It had to be that mankind had to do the work, not that it came straight from Hashem. We're called Bnei Akiva, which means that we are named after Rabbi Akiva and we should try and emulate in his actions. So we're meant to take the mundane, just like Rabbi Akiva believed, and make them holier and put a sense of godliness into the world.
The Omer is often characterized as a mourning period of the students of Rabbi Akiva. However, we should keep in mind that the mitzvah min haTorah of the Omer is to count the 7 weeks after Yetziat Mitzrayim towards Matan Torah, the most important event in Jewish history. In life, to appreciate a pivotal experience, we would orient our thoughts towards it so as to receive its full impact, in an attempt to understand its magnitude. The anticipation and appreciation of an event is at times just as integral as experiencing the event itself, which is manifest in our obligation to count the 49 days of the Omer. Were we not to be consciously counting towards and awaiting this event, Shavuot, and by extension Matan Torah, would transiently pass us by in a matter of days, and we would miss the point of the Torah obligation of counting the Omer. The Sefer HaChinuch details that Sefirat HaOmer emphasizes that the main element of Jewish life is nothing other than the Torah. as through our counting of the Omer, we are continually placing the Torah at the centre of our lives.